Hello and welcome. This is Laurie Mitchell, and you're listening to the Thursday Members Teleclass, the webcast itself. It's live right now, and what we'll be talking about tonight is beliefs. And I want to talk about beliefs tonight because I think it's really important that we start understanding more about beliefs, and not just our own beliefs, but how we create unless we have beliefs stopping us. So I've been covering the speed manifesting method for a long time, and there is a lot of material. The book itself covers the 7 steps, and that is a basic explanation and categorization of concepts that allow you to simply start applying and using the creative process. It just gathers all the materials together and organizes them in a way that we can do almost a checklist of how to create. It's very natural to create, but when we learn how we've been missing one particular step, for instance, a lot of people miss the power and poison of words. It's an obvious one, but unless you get practiced at using your words in a way that are powerful to create, you're missing a lot of your power. And that's the way that all the 7 principles, the steps themselves for speed manifesting, work. The beliefs, though, that I want you to understand are about the difference between how life itself works, how it's laid out, how the rules of the universe, the way life really works, the laws of the universe work, and then on the other side of it, how human beings are designed. The important part about that is that human beings, we live in a world of beliefs. It's how we relate to our reality. So it is important for us to recognize that on one hand we have beliefs, and on the other hand we have universal laws, and that the beliefs that we have and hold are our choice. And the moment that you begin to look at your thinking, in other words, the rules that are in your thinking, as something that you either made a decision about at some point in the past because it was useful, or you accepted someone else's decision about the way the rules need to be, or even further than that, that 3rd degree of beliefs, which is that people from way beyond this lifetime made up some rules that might have served them, but you need to question whether they serve this age and whether they serve this lifetime and whether they serve you right now. And from there, when you discover that you have a belief, you can ask yourself some questions. And the very first question to ask when you discover that you have a recurring theme in your life that you recognize as a particular belief that you can give voice to, that you can label as this is what this belief is, like I have to work hard, for instance, then you can ask yourself this simple question. And the simple question is, do I want this to be true? Because the magic in life is that you choose your beliefs. If you know, first of all, they're beliefs, and second of all, that you have the power to choose and re-choose or recreate a new belief for yourself, and then live your life like that's true until it does become true. That's the magic of beliefs. I also say there's a lie in beliefs, and if you look at the word belief, in the middle of that word is L-I-E. And I think that was put there to remind us that it's not the truth. It might be our truth for a period of time, but truth is timeless. Truth doesn't change. Truth is truth no matter which way you look at it, no matter how much you dig. Truth becomes more evident as you dig. Beliefs, however, you can hear beliefs more from other people than you can from yourself usually. So someone will come up to you and say something. I hear it all the time. They say something as if it's a blanket statement and it's true for all of life, including you, and you know from your own experience it's just not true. And it's using words like never or always or men are or women are or children are. It just labels people. It becomes even prejudging people. So all of those beliefs are a foundation for us to understand our own values and how we are going to live out those values from our point of view in the universe. So we're here, and we are spiritual beings confined in this physical existence unless we connect to our power of creation and our power of choice. The power of creation is in the spiritual sense. The power of choice is in the human sense, the physical sense. So I'd like you to start understanding, and this is in the first part of Speed Manifesting. In the book, it's the beginning of one of the first two sections of the book, and I explain this because I need you to understand that before you can freely go on and then start creating. But at the same time, I don't explore individual beliefs. That book is coming. But in the meantime, today what I really want is for you to have an understanding of not just that beliefs are something that you can choose, re-choose, reform, reprogram, and that universal laws don't change, and that's how we know the universal laws, to the best of our understanding and explanation. But beyond that today, what I really want you to understand is that in order for new possibilities in your life, in the world, in life itself to exist, in order for new possibilities to exist, what emanates from you must be like a lack of beliefs. I don't mean a lack of believing in something. I mean in the word beliefs, in the sense of the rules, the box that we live within in ourself. That is the set of rules that we say this is how life is, and we don't even know we've set some of those rules. That no possibility for anything new exists. That it's a cycle that just keeps going. It keeps you in that box. It's self-evident, but what I want you to understand is beyond the kind of self-development, personal growth, break through your barriers, be more like the guy beside you is. I'm not talking about those kinds of possibilities. Yes, there are personal possibilities that our beliefs hold us back from. But I'm talking about breaking open beliefs that are shared, that have been shackling us and shackling you from new possibilities for all of life, for all of humanity. And when you can get to the place where you can just hold your belief and witness it, look at it, and see that it's just a belief, and then hold another possible belief for long enough that you can get an experience of that coming into your life, manifesting into your life, and then suddenly you can look and say that you can have a new possibility born into your life that you've never had before. So yes, for a long time we've been talking about human limits and beliefs and how to create your life, how to break free from the money beliefs, the relationship beliefs, all of the different limitations that we put on ourselves, that our parents have put on us, and they're still somewhere rattling around in our thinking, and therefore we are creating our life from them. That when we resist those, they stay, that we have to witness them. Hold the beliefs lightly, and then imagine and dwell on new possibilities for all of life. See, I believe that life itself is ready to experience something new. It's kind of like life itself, the universe, wants to experience something else. We've been stuck in a sense. Although we have been expanding, we've been stuck in a sense of the repetition of the way that we treat each other as human beings, the way that we treat each other in relationships, the way we manage this myriad emotions in the physical form, the way we handle our reactions instead of our responses. And I just think that the universe is tired of war, tired of a lot of those levels of fear and worry, and is ready to express itself in a different way. I think that's what's being born of the age that we live in now, that we are being asked to be more. We are being asked to imagine more. So it's not that we're being asked like 1,000 years ago to sacrifice ourselves for principles so that we can expand our consciousness. This is different. This is expanding ourselves in the creative sense, using our mental faculties, which I talk about in the book in the step 4 process. It's the thinking process, using those beautiful mental faculties of imagination and of reason and will, and holding them and contemplating, allowing ourselves to unlearn perhaps what we did learn about daydreaming, that it wasn't okay, that it's not useful, when in fact it's the beginning of the creative process in the unmanifest world. So knowing what we want and then placing that order in our imagination and then dreaming about it is very, very important in the starting place for creating what you want. Of course, you have to know what you want first. And so holding a belief that something is possible, it's the tiniest bit of energy. It's like being out in the solar system and being able to push on something that has no gravity. Just the tiniest push will send that so far, and then as it catches gravity, catches momentum somewhere, it can then become this new possibility for everything. So it's exciting times, and it's exciting times for you right now, because distinguishing this conversation about beliefs and just suspending beliefs, stay grounded in this physical reality, but suspending a belief, a particular belief that life is this way, and just hold the possibility as you observe and use your imagination for something that you do want, to consider another possibility for all of humanity, which means for you. And it could be that somewhere in the greatest stretch of your imagination you can imagine peace, that you can imagine prosperity for all, that you can imagine abundance for all, that forgiveness and healing is possible not just for you, but for everyone now. And then let it be, while you're still dealing in the reality that we have created up until now. And if you've been working on the speed manifesting method, then you understand that you can manifest something very, very quickly. And you can ask for it and have it drop into your life, or have it show up into your life in either a magical way or a common sense logical way. Have it be that you get a great idea, some intuition, and you start taking action, and you get led to it day by day by day. Your greatest ambition is actually received because you logically just kept at it, but for the first time in your life you were able to actually get the results that you expect. So out of all of that, knowing that, the beliefs themselves are the next step, to release as many beliefs as you choose to that are holding you back from realizing the next bigger dream that is for you in your life, or the biggest dream, if you want that. And then what shows up the moment you ask for that is everything in between in your life right now that's stopping you from that. So be prepared. Learn how to release energy. Learn how to shift beliefs, the energy of beliefs, the emotions that come tied in with the memories that you have that get brought up when your thinking process, your subconscious process starts. You have to purge yourself of some of those old energies and thought processes and tell them, no, the door is closed. Use your will. Hold it so that you can allow something new to be born into your life. So however it was last week has nothing to do with how it is next week unless you choose, unless you say so. I just want you to know that every day is a new day. Every day is a new day. I got this gift out of the greatest challenge of my life, and that was my relationship with my son. And sometimes I had to wipe the slate clean for the day and start all over again because that's all I could do. It was the best I could do was to just get to bed that night. But I knew that I could start again in the morning. And I wiped the slate clean, practiced forgiveness for me and for the behaviors. And then when I got into the habit of just saying that, it made me feel better. And so then I started exploring this idea that every day is a new day. And what you can do is hold a belief that says that until new possibilities show up into your life that take you beyond forgiveness, that take you beyond refreshing yourself when you've had a bad day, into new possibilities about what happens when you go to sleep at night. Where do you go? And I think it's an important time to allow yourself to be open to new possibilities so that you can begin to create magical things the next day by asking for them that night. You've heard before about the power of the subconscious mind and how when you write things down that you have to do the next day, it's so much easier to do them. When you write your diary to-do list out the day before you go to bed, it's so much easier. When people say their prayers at night, it's an easier sleep no matter what the day has brought. And so hold those beliefs as possibilities for a new day. And however much your imagination can stretch to just be suspended there until the time comes for them to drop into your life, new things will start to show up. And certainly this is what I've had happen to me, even just in the recent times, especially natural wonders of the world have come into my life. So it's not that I have it on some video, some natural program, some documentary on the Discovery Channel, that really special things have come into my life out of me holding the possibility that every day is really a new day. It's a new reality. And what that does is that in a grounded sense, it allows me to still hold on to my life and the reality I have and allow magical new adventures to come into my life. And I'm still dealing with the beliefs that I had yesterday, but just holding them as transitory, the ones that don't serve me, and looking at them and seeing what the costs are of them, looking at them and noticing there it is again, there it is again, and then being able to say, am I ready? Yes, I'm ready. What would be a new belief? So you can take yourself through a conversation with yourself that allows you to move beliefs in lots of different ways. But one of them is it's important, whatever way you use, is to hold that belief as that says that every day is a new day, that tomorrow there are new possibilities for you. And so tonight, ponder on what the new possibilities are for a tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes, so this is just in your imagination. When it becomes manifest in your world, you'll say, oh yes, there it is. because you've been playing in imagination so much that it became real before it dropped into your life. And that's how things work. That's how the creative process works anyway. But in terms of shifting beliefs, look, we don't live in an age where we can hold on to beliefs anymore. We have to be open-minded and grounded. So we have to give authority to our own inner wisdom and our own personal experience of life, knowing that it was just a particular perspective with an interpretation, a perception in there somewhere, and then a point of view was formed from that time, from that age that we were, from that perspective, with the information we had. And it may not be relevant, and it may not even be a correct perspective with our interpretation of, let's say, a relationship or something. So hold the idea that inside you is your own truth, which is your beliefs, what you experienced, interpreted, had your perception going on that, and now you hold this decision about it. But I don't want you to live inside of this is the way life is. This is the way people are. This is the way it's going to be forever. No matter what, allow for some new beliefs that are going to give you more joy, more peace, more fun. Because now is the time to do that. There is no more time for dwelling in depression, dwelling in anger, dwelling in doubt and fear, dwelling in negativity, doom and gloom, because that's how it's always been. And I give you this conversation because for me, I stepped into the computer industry when it was very, very young, and we didn't have any road to follow. We created our own road in terms of how business worked and how things developed. And so I didn't get involved in old companies where this was the way things always were. And much later in life, when I came across a few companies that when I questioned the purpose of doing a particular procedure, they said, because that's the way we've always done it. I was furious. That answer, it made no sense to me. But apparently that's what many, many people experience as they go straight out into the workforce. And so you might have picked up that as if it's a belief. Just notice it, if that's true. And I can tell you, it doesn't have to be that way in any workplace nor in your own life. The way it's always been has nothing to do with what you choose next. And it could be something as radical as changing your whole life, or it could be something as grounded as expanding who you are so that you can do exactly what you're doing with exactly who you're with exactly where you are, but doing it more powerfully. So there is no right or wrong about that. This is like, let's find another way. Let's find a new way. One that serves higher values and is aligned with what I believe in. So go to your own values and know the difference between your base values, what your core beliefs are that are most important to you, that you've chosen and you continue to choose, about respect, about people, about justice, about fairness, about excellence, about joy, about anything that you've decided are the most important qualities and characteristics of anyone to you. And then choose those. Have those be the foundation for the rest of the beliefs that you have. And then create some new ones so that you can add to it. You've inherited quite a few, most likely, and it's time to make sure that those ones you can talk to, set them on your shoulder, just like a little man. I usually have a little man. He's not here right now, but I usually clip a little man on my shoulder in some of my talks, and just so that I can help people to see that that voice that goes on in your thinking is not who you are, because you can observe it. You can watch it go by, you can have a conversation with it, and if you can do that, then who are you? Who's the voice, and who are you that is looking at the voice, talking to the voice? So notice that difference and be able to let go of the voice, because it's the voice of the past. It's a subconscious programming from wherever. It could be just from television that you've heard again and again, the same old phrases, the same old cliches. And if you notice that, then just notice whether the results that you have in your life are what you want, because your results are your beliefs. And so with new possibilities opening up that are more adventurous for life, or more expansion for you, or more self-expression, or more expanding on the truth of life, whatever it is for you, allow for that to be possible. But you have to say so. You have to hold the possibility in your imagination. You have to be able to just at least say, yes, in my wildest dreams that could be possible. And that's enough to get started. And then you can ponder it and you'll get ideas. So, the exciting message for today, as you already knew, it was that universal beliefs and that universal laws and beliefs are different things. And when you start to separate them and you start to question your beliefs and decide whether you want that to be true, and then hold the laws of life as guidance and learn more about the laws of life, how life really works, and then how human beings are designed, are those beliefs. And the agreement between all of us of the shared beliefs of reality are holding us back. So the real message then is that we take those shared beliefs of humanity now and we start to question them. We start to question whether they are the complete picture. And beliefs are never the complete picture. We always have more to expand. If we look back historically, and thank goodness we can, but even 100 years ago, there were so many inventions that the U.S. Patent Office, over 100 years ago, the U.S. Patent Office was starting to wind down, because at the end of the 1900s, they were saying that, like in the year 1900, they were saying they were going to wind down at that point, because all that could possibly be invented had been. Because they had had so many amazing inventions from the 1850s to 1900. So from their perspective, were they right? Yes, in that sense, but no, they weren't right in the sense of there's always more. There's always further expansion, and what we need first of all is individual possibilities held. And then when enough people then start to come along and say yes to a possibility, they'll start working together and creating one. It's not in the unmanifest that has to happen, but it starts in the energy vibration that then brings people together to work. So the spiritual then moves into form, and then the physical start working on the idea together. And so in the cooperation of ideas and the creativity and the working together peacefully and with purpose brings new possibilities. I love this quote that I once heard, and it's this: when the first fish crawled up onto the beach, at that moment, the possibility of eagles and elephants was born. And that's what I'm asking you to do tonight, is to make a possibility be born, and we do not know where it's going to take us. So make it a good one. But be open to it, allow it, and allow it to be something different that hasn't ever happened before, something really great. And then just hold the possibility, suspend your current beliefs, and ground yourself to this physical reality, and then watch what shows up. And go out and have fun, take action, be intuitive, and find your own joy. This is Lori. I'm glad you've listened tonight. If you want more information, you're certainly welcome to go to our Imagine membership site, which is imagine-speedmanifesting.com. Thanks for listening.